So welcome to Dr. Richard Kirkham, who is you are an associate professor in what, Richard?
We don't have that grade at the University of Manchester. I'm a reader in civil engineering.
There we go. So Richard is a reader in civil engineering at Manchester University, and he's going to join us on the MSc DIBAM programme over the next year. Richard, tell us what's exciting for you about the opportunities of contributing to the DIBAM programme at UCL.
Well, I've been teaching on DIBAM for a few years now, and it's a real pleasure and a privilege to have the opportunity to teach at a prestigious institution like UCL. And the particular programme that Michael leads is really tackling some of the key issues that the construction, property and wider built environment sector is facing as we transition towards a post-pandemic world. And there's a great opportunity for you as a potential student who's coming to UCL to learn about how the construction sector is reorganising and changing to enable economies to rebuild as a consequence of the pandemic. UCL has a very long and proud history, as does Manchester, in project studies and project management, and you'll have a really good opportunity to learn about cutting edge research, and in particular some of the really exciting stuff that's taking place with my colleagues both in Manchester and UCL. So this is really research inspired teaching that you will have the opportunity to engage with, and I'm sure you'll find it really exciting.
I'm sure we will. And so we've asked you to join the programme, as you rightly say, over the last few years because of your particular connections to industry. Clearly, as you say, UCL has a long history of teaching and research in project management, but you've come on board because of your particular expertise, particular areas of connection. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, Michael. So my PhD, which I completed back in 2002 now, so I'm showing my age, was on stochastic methods in whole life costing. So whole life costing is a standard methodology that the industry uses to evaluate the capital and operational costs of infrastructure and building investments. And it's also used in the UK government as the basis for evaluating the investment decisions around major projects and programmes. So not just buildings like infrastructure, but also defence systems, IT and government transformation. So that work was quite influential in feeding into British standards, international standards. The book that I wrote following my thesis is quite highly cited. And that led then for me going into a secondment in the Cabinet Office, which is the government department that works for the Prime Minister. And I worked with a team of civil servants, providing analysis to ministers and senior civil servants on the performance of the government's major project portfolio. So I'm able to tell you a lot about that exciting stuff. And it was a stressful time, I would say, because being an academic, I'm used to working at a more sedentary pace, but working in Whitehall, where ministers demand things within 30 seconds of the request, was quite challenging. But I'll be able to tell you all about that from personal experiences. But we also do invite a civil servant that works in Cabinet Office and is alumnus of the Bartlett to come and talk to you about some of the exciting work he does around investment appraisal, particularly for private finance projects that the UK government continues to seek and to sponsor. But yes, I also have extensive industry contacts, and I still kind of do practitioner-based work. And I try to bring those examples into the classroom as well. And hopefully that then allows you to apply some of the theoretical concepts that we cover to practical real-life problems. So, for example, last year we looked at the government's Ministry of Justice rebuilding programme, and the students had an opportunity to work with real project data and engage with materials that are available to the public and to produce some strategic project management guidance, which the students did a really, really good job of, and I think they really enjoyed it. So we'll do something a bit like that if you come and join the course in this next academic term.
Well, you're right. The feedback that we got over the last few years has been terrific, which of course is why we're delighted to welcome you back year on, year out. Could you tell us, I mean, you touched on what a lecture might look like a little bit. Can you maybe just say what you might experience? Because we're going online this year. And you and I both see this as a fantastic opportunity to bring the digital world into its own, if you like. It's the sort of the best of digital. It may be a forced opportunity, but it's an opportunity nonetheless. So how do you sort of see the lectures looking online?
So what's crucial here is that we learn lessons from how we've delivered our MSc programs towards the back end of the last academic year, which was absolutely in crisis mode, I think. But what I've learned is that we've actually been quite resilient as institutions in being able to reorient our delivery so that, you know, you'd still get the opportunity that the course needs to offer you, and the engagement with your fellow students. So going into this next academic year, absolutely we're going to be using digital collaborative tools. But actually, I think that does present a genuine opportunity in that it will emulate the type of working environment that you'll expect to immerse yourself in following graduation. And certainly working in major construction projects and programs, you will be expected to use digital collaborative tools, certainly in the space of BIM. So actually, I think aside from the kind of technical and theoretical, you know, content that you will engage with in the course, you'll develop some online skills which will be of real value to you. And the staff on the programme, and myself included, we will try and help you understand how those skills are being developed so that you can articulate those in future job applications that you might make. So rather than you being in a lecture theatre all day, instead you'll be working online, but you'll be working in small groups. We have the ability in Blackboard Collaborate to create breakout groups and to get you to work collaboratively. That will be facilitated by myself, possibly by another guest lecturer as well. So you will get exactly the same content, you will get exactly the same material, you'll get the same level of engagement, but you'll just be working in a slightly different way.
That's fantastic, Richard. I'm looking forward to it. You and I have known each other now for about 15 years. So that's a fair chunk of time. So I know a little bit about you. I know you're a family man, and I know obviously I see a lot about the hard work that your wife in particular has done with the COVID-19, with the pandemic, and a lot of people in the UK have really been fantastic heroes, I think, in this difficult time. Tell us a little bit of something that's different about you, something, maybe one of your hobbies or something, just something about Richard the man.
Well, you're probably right. It has been 15 years, and what I've noticed is that I've lost all my hair and you haven't. So maybe I ought to move to a different institution. Anyway, about me. I've been at Manchester University for a decade, and I outside of university do lots of stuff. So I'm an ultra marathon runner and have done all sorts of distances over the last couple of years, from 24-hour races. My most recent one was a 100-mile race, which I did to raise funds for the hospice where my wife is a nurse. I do a lot of cycling. I'm also a junior football coach in a town called Tadcaster in North Yorkshire, which is famous for beer. So if we do get to meet in person, I'll be more than delighted to tell you all about the excellent beers that we have available in London and around the UCL campus. And apart from that, I'm also an independent prison monitor appointed by the government and the Secretary of State in particular. So my job is to make sure that people who are in prison are kept in prison in accordance with the law and in humane conditions. And as part of that work, I go and speak to prisoners once a week. I will deal with complaints, and I will write an annual report to the Secretary of State.
Gosh, well, the last bit I didn't know all that detail about, but the marathon running is making me feel exhausted just listening to you. I think that's been an interesting sort of 10 minutes with you, Richard. Thank you for that. And I'm sure everybody's now looking forward to meeting you and getting on with the MSc. So thanks for joining us today, Richard. Bye-bye.
It's a pleasure, Michael. Thank you very much for the invitation.